Alright, a whole new slew of anime just came out, and when I first thought, like, oh, you know, they won't come out with too many, like maybe 4 or 5, and I can watch them and review them. But then in a single night, I was just hit with 6 new anime series. It's like, oh man, I don't think I can review all those. But I will give them a watch, and if they're that interesting, if they really are that good, I will talk about them. And so far, the first one I've watched was actually good enough for me to talk about, or at least surprised me enough to actually make me consider that they were doing something different and unique with this one. Now, the concept of mecha versus monsters has been done to death. Yes, it's true. So when I heard the title, Cross Ange, Rondo of Angels and Dragons, I immediately thought it was Angels versus Dragons. And in the first couple minutes of the episode, I immediately thought, yeah, it is Angels versus Dragons. These dragon-like creatures, which aren't called dragons, but they look like them, so I'm calling them dragons, are coming out of this portal, you know, destroying stuff, boom, boom, boom. And then these girls riding these giant attack robots coming in and fighting back. And I guess, being girls, most people would assume, hey, they're pretty, so let's call them angels. So in a way, it's angels versus dragons. Now, after that battle, I guess the rest of the episode is flashback as to how the main female lead, like, yes, so now we have a main female character as the center of the show. Alright, I'm already interested. Although I will say in the opening, they do show a guy and she's attracted to him. But thankfully, the guy isn't the focus of all the females. So it's not a harem, it's just the main female character has a thing for one of the guys, I guess, who works alongside her in this military, or it looks like a military. So again, it's still interesting enough for me to think, okay, it's not a basic story, a harem I've seen before. No, it's nice to see this. All right. And we get a flashback to this character, and her full name is Angelize Ikura. Angelize. Okay, I'm not gonna bother remembering her full name. They call her Angie in this episode. That's what I'm calling her, Angie. And we go back to a flashback of her in school and this sports and stuff like that. And again, her team loses. Of course, she's trying to save one of her teammates from falling. Very dangerous sports. Why do sports have to be dangerous? What's the point? But either way, they lose. Again, a good turn. Usually when we see anime like this, they immediately have the school that the main character works for is like the #1 school. They're better at everything. It's like, we won again for 7 years in a row. Like, that's kind of boring if you win every time. But no, they lost. And it kind of made me feel, yeah, this is nice. It's believable. Even though she's the main character, that does not automatically mean she's gonna have her school and everyone around her is gonna be the best at everything. Thank God for that. And of course, she makes a speech that even though we lost, we have these bonds. And again, it's one of those corny speeches I've seen before, but it didn't last too long. It's like, okay, don't overstay your welcome. And she immediately starts heading home with her brother and little sister. And apparently she's part of a royal family. Like, okay, now this is definitely unique. The fact that this princess who's in the school isn't perfect, and she does seem more normal compared to most princesses you see in other anime. They're riding through town, and then I see all these pictures of her all over the city, and billboards and advertisements. I'm like, damn, talk about whoring yourself to the camera. But it made sense because at the time she's turning 16, and that's apparently some rite of passage in this kingdom. And apparently everyone in this universe can use mana, or the light of mana, which is sort of like magic. Then all of a sudden, the car stops saying, oh my god, there's a Norma. And this is apparently the first time this princess has ever encountered a Norma. What a Norma is a human that actually cannot use mana, but can actually negate mana. And that's terrifying for a society. And I'm thinking, like, what? Are they going to send her to a special school or what? It's like, no, it sounds like they're going to kill the child. This child is probably no more than, I'd say, 5-6 months. Still a baby. Can't say a word, just crying. And the mother is just, no, don't take my baby. We have to. She's a Norma. It's like, Jesus, guys, can't you do anything for her? Like, no, she must die. It's like, Jesus, guys. And then even when the princess steps out of the car to see what's going on and, you know, actually make herself part of the conversation, I'm thinking like, oh, she's going to say something, you know, to quell the mother's fear, or maybe she's going to let her keep the baby. Like, no, she just straight out says, ma'am, they have to take the baby and dispose of her. Don't worry, though. You can have a new baby that won't turn out to be a mutant. I was like, holy shit. Did she just... I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's kind of like her saying... it's like kind of like saying, oh, this kid has a mutation. It's not going to come out perfect. You might as well get an abortion and work on getting a new one. It's like, the fuck? Who says that? You don't... Wow. So that was just a surprise. The fact that the main female character lead just pretty much said, go ahead and kill the baby, but don't worry, you can have a new one. Like, it's like that simple to do. It's like, wow. I mean, that's kind of a bold thing to have your main character say. But I'm already feeling like, oh, it's gonna build up to something, and it does. Apparently during her coronation, it's discovered that she herself is a Norma. And in a way, I'm supposed to feel bad for her, but in one of her previous scenes, she pretty much told her mother, like, this world is beautiful, but it'd be even more beautiful if we just committed genocide of the entire Normas in the world. It's like, my God, is this what the main character is being told to say? It's like, Jesus Christ. And it's funny because apparently... all her life she's been protected by a maid who can use mana, so that's why she's never had to depend on it, and it's never been revealed to her that she can't use mana. And even her father and mother have been hiding the fact that she's a Norma from the entire country. And her brother revealed to the world like this has been a lie this whole time. She's a Norma, she has to be, you know, taken away, and even has their father imprisoned, and the mother is killed. Shit is just not going right for Ange. And this is just the creepy part. The older brother, the prince, actually just says, well, you know, now it's just you and me, little sister. We're gonna have to rebuild the whole royal family, just the two of us. I'm just like, what is he suggesting incest? Alright, first, the female main character of this show is saying we must commit genocide in order for this world to achieve true peace and beauty. And her older brother, the prince, who pretty much betrayed her, is now looking at what I'm thinking is a disabled. Yeah, she has no use of her legs. Looking at her little sister and saying, we're gonna have to restart the whole royal family by ourselves. Like, oh my God, what is wrong with this show? And it gets even worse, because after her mother is shot in defending her, Ange is looked at with horror. All the people are screaming at her and calling her a monster, and even her fellow classmates who just stated that she was amazing because of this bond she made earlier call her, what bonds, you freaking monsters? Like, Jesus, girls, what the fuck? All these people are assholes. They need to be knocked off their pedestal. It's like, if I was Ange, I'd gather an army of Normas and just come in and take over. I mean, with our ability to negate mana, they're not gonna stop us. Like, yeah, why don't they do that? And it's just kind of like, I'm supposed to sympathize and feel sorry for Ange, but saying she wants to commit genocide of these Normas, of these mutants, is again kind of a hard line to get over. But things get even worse for her. Apparently, all the Normas are taken to this facility, and they're forced to join this military. And I'm guessing that's why they're fighting dragons. So, wait, these Normas are meant to defend the borders of this country that looks at them with disdain? How does that work? Don't you think that's a bad idea? I mean, putting the Normas, who you have been treating like second-class citizens their entire lives, and giving them these giant attack robots, you don't think that's going to turn badly? Apparently not, because that's pretty much what they do. And of course, you know, going into prison, you have to strip them of their clothes and all their possessions of their previous life. And even there is a physical. Wow, I mean, okay. Apparently, all Normas can only be female. So, of course, this facility is all full of females, and I'm guessing any males will be probably like mechanics or engineers, stuff like that. And the warden, I'm going to call her the warden because I don't know what her rank is yet. The warden starts beating on Ange, saying, your name is no longer this, your name now is Ange. And finally, she just strips her of all her clothes, takes off her panties, and just chains her to the table, you know, bends her over, is like, it's a physical. And I don't think it's a rubber glove. It looked like a metal glove. It looked like a metal glove. And, oh my god, she screams in terror. And just, this episode pretty much ends showing some of the females we're going to meet in the future episodes. And then just Ange on the floor, you know, with her torn clothes underneath her and blood coming out of her, in her rear, and her just crying on the floor. Just like, what the fuck happened in this episode? What show is this? What am I watching? What am I in for? And really, yeah, it's just, so far, how many new series I'm watching? 3, I believe. And from those 3, I'm just shocked at how surprised, just how better they are than my expectations. But again, then maybe it's just the first episode. They gave us nothing but shock value and after shock value, and maybe the rest is not that good. Maybe it's just generic mecha battles and making friends with all these girls and falling in love with a guy. Maybe, but from the first episode, damn, shock after shock. It just does not stop. It's a roller coaster. But again, the main character still wanted to commit genocide or mass murder, whatever you want to call it. But I'm guessing genocide because that's pretty much the same as killing an entire race, and she wants to kill all these mutants. And in a way, they are their own separate race. So I'm considering it genocide. And that's kind of a hard line for me to get past and make me feel bad for her. I do feel bad for her. I sympathize with her. Like, all her life has been a lie, and now she's pretty much starting from the bottom. Not even the bottom, below the bottom. She's gutter trash compared to the rest of the world. At least, yeah, to the rest of the world. They see her as nothing but garbage. So I feel bad for her in that sense. But again, part of me kind of believes she deserves it from the way she reacted to all these people. It's like, yeah, you're like, sorry lady, your kid has to die. Like, but don't worry, you can get another kid. And then later saying like, yeah, let's kill all these Normas. By the time they're born, it's like, yeah, kill the baby. He's a Norma. He's a mutant. It's like, or she's a mutant. It's like, sad. Surprise after surprise. So I'm gonna keep watching this series. Like, yeah, kind of wondering where it's gonna go. Hopefully it doesn't go down a generic road because it kind of started off strong. Maybe too strong, but strong nonetheless. So until the next episode, hopefully it's less traumatic than this one. I'm Tony Dragon. Bye bye.